Are women preppers different than male preppers? Are male preppers more worried about security and female preppers more worried about food storage? Are many male preppers gun obsessed? Do females need males for protection? Well, these are all great questions, and there's been a lot of comments on Reddit lately about it. Hey, my resilient citizens, it's Prepper Potpourri here, and it's another Prepper Potpourri pondering prepping video. So make sure you've hit the subscribe button and that little bell icon so you receive notices every time I post a new video. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I hate labeling and categorizing people. It seems to be all the rage right now. Put people in different categories depending on their sexual identity, depending on their political beliefs, whatever. Well, I guess this is one depending on your gender. And you know, when the media generally shows a prepper, it's a gun-toting male, usually preparing for the apocalypse. Rarely would they show a female prepper. And you know, popular apocalyptic literature and movies usually has a male hero. In fact, very often the male saves a young female and they become partners in life, or at least in the literature. And the male is usually seen as the savior type and hero. But that's not true in all literature, but many ones that you read, and in a lot of movies. So I guess, do more male preppers prepare for the world ending? And do females preppers more prepare for everyday emergencies? Are female preppers marginalized? And do men concentrate more on security and safety than women? Are women concerned more with just food storage? Are there more men than female preppers? I mean, look at all these questions. And no, I don't have an answer for every single question. You know, there aren't many studies that really quantify U.S. preppers. Of course, one of the problems is very often preppers are pretty clandestine and they keep their preps secret. So they're not going to answer a survey saying, yes, they have all these preps in their basement or all of this food storage. But there was a study done based on a FEMA study of 5,000 different households. And based on that, it was figured that about 31% of preppers are females. Now, on a popular blog, theprepared.com, it states that they figure about 50% of their subscribers identify as female. So is it about 50-50? Is it a little bit more males than females? Not sure. And you know, I thought about this a little bit, but I think the roles we assume in our family probably transition into our roles as preppers. So if we are the ones that prepare the meals for our family, we may be more initially concerned with food storage. If we're the person that is responsible for the safety and security of our family, maybe we get interested in guns and other forms of protection. These are the roles that we already have in our family structure. But I think these roles can transition into what I call the hobby side of prepping. And what do I mean by that? For instance, a person is interested in family safety and they may start watching a lot of gun channels. And in doing so, it leads them to collect guns and have a fascination with gun culture. Yes, they are also a prepper, but they got kind of off on this sideline. And you know, when I look at myself, I bought the first gun in our household. It was when I got back to prepping, and I thought, boy, I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to learn how to use it. Well, my husband was overjoyed, and he also joined me, and he got into what I call more the hobby side. He goes every week to the range. He loves to plink. He loves to talk about guns with anybody that will listen. And if you're watching a movie, he will tell you what gun somebody is using. Okay, for me, I checked off that area of safety in prepping, and going to the range may be only a monthly thing or even a little longer for me. But it is now kind of a hobby for my husband. So you're getting my idea. Now, if you watch my channel, you know I do a lot of food preservation videos and recipes making food storage. So yes, I prepare most of the meals for my family. That was my role. So that was the reason I was interested in food storage. But I also like to preserve food, and I do it quite often, and it's the way I supplement our food storage, but it is kind of a hobby for me, and it makes up a lot of my videos on this channel. So food storage main interest, really kind of have that checked, even though it's a continuation. You always have to keep on adding to your food storage because you're using it. But my husband, that's something for me to check. He's not worried about it. So that's how our roles kind of transition. And I think you'll see that in other parts of prepping also. And if you look at YouTube, most of the food preservation, not all of them, but most of the channels are women creators. And for gun channels, the majority are men, but there are women. I mean, there's, what is that called? Girls with Guns and other ones. Although I have an idea, most of the subscribers are men watching the Girls with the Guns. But there are some female gun channels also. So what I'm saying is I believe, for instance, food storage is a concern of any prepper, regardless of your gender. Like they say, you can't eat bullets. Now, some people might be fine with just storing beans and rice, and others want to have food that is comparable to what they normally eat in their food storage. Thus, our hobby side of prepping shape the public image of a prepper. Also, we have to be careful that our hobby side of prepping doesn't cause us to neglect other very important parts of prepping. To me, as preppers, we have to prepare for 4 main areas: water storage, food storage, medical and hygiene supplies and knowledge, and safety and security. And that can be both financial and personal security. And our needs, whether we're male or females, are basically the same for food or water, except very often for food, women don't need as many calories as a man, so we might have our food storage go a little longer, I guess. And women have some different medical issues than men. After all, we menstruate, we have children, and we may be worried about birth control. So there are some differences for medical supplies needed. And financial security might differ for either one. If you aren't the bread earner of your family and something happens to your main earner, then financial security is very, very important. I want to read you this. This was posted in a Slate article. Quote, on Reddit, one poster said that many of what the main forum considered SHTF scenarios weren't too far off from what people who have lived in poverty have grown up experiencing. Whereas the one group tends to treat the condition one preps for as exceptional, the other prepares for, quote, Tuesday, not doomsday, end quote. For many men, prepping is a fantasy of stepping up to occupy a role which has all been erased from the modern world. In a different poster observed, for women, on the other hand, prepping is a fantasy of not being badly inconvenienced by disasters as we continue in the roles that we're already occupying. And I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, when I first explored the world of prepperdom online, I did encounter some very, how should I put it, testosterone overladen groups, and some members wanted to relegate women to secondary roles. However, I've also seen groups that are just the opposite. Maybe they're too much estrogen and there are man-hating type comments. But I think in both these cases, these are not the norm. As preppers, we want to encourage as many people to prep as possible. We shouldn't care about their gender, their sexual identity, their political views, their religious views, and which team they follow every football season. Instead, we all should have the same goal, and we should encourage and nurture other preppers. So I don't kind of like the discussion about male preppers are different from female preppers. They can be, but who cares? First, think of us as preppers, okay? We're all here to provide a certain safety level for our families in emergencies. We all have the same goal. So for myself, I don't consider myself a female prepper. I consider myself a prepper first, who just happens to be a female. Anyway, interesting subject. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Please comment below.